Hello humans, aliens, AIs, and lizard people. My name is Kyle, but don't even think about saying the name of the channel because I absolutely hate it. So, RPGs. Some people hate them, some couldn't care less than this Quagzer. I mean, look at this guy, he doesn't give a single fuck. But even more, absolutely love them. But one thing that most of us can't deny is that their soundtracks are usually awesome. But, at least in my case, the themes that stick in my head are usually the battle themes. Random battles, boss fights, climactic final duels, they all at some point end up repeating in my gray matter. So, I figured I'd make a top 10 of my favorite battle themes in RPG history. To date, at least. At some point, some of these might be usurped. However, a few rules first. First off, please remember that this is my opinion, so getting angry or defensive about this song or that song being on it or not doesn't matter, so you shouldn't be getting angry about it. Secondly, I am limiting myself to 2 songs per franchise. This is so all the songs on this list don't end up being from a single franchise I love like Final Fantasy. However, because of this, some franchises may get little to no attention at all. Also, regarding the term RPG, I have my own definition of the term, as do others. For me, it means anything with RPG elements as a major aspect. So, action RPGs or tactical games are fair game to me, as are Western RPGs versus JRPGs. Finally, as mentioned before, these are not limited to normal battle themes. Final boss themes and other normal boss themes may and/or will appear. Because of such, I'm issuing a spoiler warning now! If something from a game you are playing or want to play gets spoiled, remember, you watched the video and I warned you before the list even started. So please, no complaints about that. One thing to keep in mind though, I'm not musically gifted at all, and I don't know many terms in regard to music or music theory, so I might say some terms in the wrong context, so I'm going to apologize ahead of time for that. Also, I apologize that some song names may be inconsistent from what you find on YouTube and such, because some either have multiple names, or their names can be translated in several ways. Either way, let's stop messing around with rules, and get this list started already, shall we? Well, first off, what a game this was. To this day, it is still my favorite Mario RPG period, and its soundtrack lives up to that title splendidly. The final battle theme here fits perfectly with the atmosphere and tension of the battle and story at this point, and the look of Dark Bowser himself. Though, when fighting the Fawful phase, admittedly, it doesn't fit nearly as well, but damn is it catchy! Plus, as the name of the song implies, there's something about this that just feels final. All 3 games to that point in the Mario and Luigi series have been building up to this climax, and damn does it do its job and do it fantastically. To this day, this song still randomly pops into my head, and I absolutely love it, and its appearance in Smash 4 was pretty cool too. If you're ever in the need of a good song, just give this a listen. Oh boy, the Battle Network series. A lot of memories with this one. This series as a whole has a fantastic score, with my overall favorite soundtrack being Battle Network 6. However, something about Battle Network 2, its main battle theme here especially, has always seemed catchier to me. Maybe it's because I spent the most time on 2 as a kid, because I outright sucked at it. I was always lost as to where to go during Freeze Man scenario especially, so I ended up hearing this song a lot. If I recall correctly, my endgame time that playthrough was 124 hours. So, this song and the main net theme were basically carved into my skull at that point. And I wouldn't have it any other way. But seriously,
go fuck yourself, Freeze Man.
Here's a game I need to play through again. Persona 4 ranks amongst my favorite games of all time, and its soundtrack as a whole accompanies that, though it is annoyingly catchy, but at the same time it's fun for that. However, more than any other song in the soundtrack, this song always stuck in my head. Possibly because my first attempt at Mr. Eyeball here took around 30 to 45 minutes due to being painfully underleveled. However, the song, thankfully, is incredible, and suitably climactic, being the boss needed for the minimal ending. You spend hours upon hours grinding and leveling up your social links perfectly, and it all culminates here in an extraordinary fashion. This song is just plain incredible. Though, serious question here. When you guys first played this, was I the only one that thought of Zero or Zero 2 from Kirby or even the Technodrome from the Turtles when you saw this thing? No? Just me? Okay. Seriously, how is this pronounced? Is it Zelia? Gilia? Exilia? Axilia? How is it supposed to be pronounced? Ah, screw it, I'm calling it Gilia. Now, I've seen a lot of people argue whether or not Gilia 2 is a superior game to its predecessor, but I think most can agree it's at least a decent game. Hell, it's actually my favorite Tales of to date that I've played at least, and the soundtrack stands right up there with it. However, out of all the game's battle themes, the one that plays during the final phase of the final battle is easily my favorite, because of its overall high energy and just kick-ass melody. And even with its energy, it still manages to have sections that have a mix of regretful and nostalgic feeling. However, that was likely intentional because, as a whole, this is actually a pretty dark game. Either way, it's technically a remix of the game's main theme song For You, but it's easily my favorite version of it. Plus, it plays in what is essentially a battle between two Power Ranger, Kamen Rider, generic tokusatsu heroes, with, 3 other characters helping out one of them, even though they aren't doing nearly as much damage as you can. Either way, good theme, good listen. Game's ending makes me cry every time. Oh boy. Here's a series I love. Mostly. The third entry was a little disappointing, and the fact that we got the second spin-off but not the first is a little odd, but I'm not here to talk about that. While they aren't known for the best localization or scripts, if there's one thing Arts and Elko is known for, it's great soundtracks and integrating them into the story near seamlessly, especially in the first 2 entries. While I'm more the mindset that prefers the second game, as a whole, the first game has the superior soundtrack in my eyes. And the first main battle theme has always popped into my head whenever I think of RPGs. A fantastic techno beat with some cheesy, yet fitting rap later in the song, partners brilliantly with the game's main battle system, and is just overall pleasant to fight to. While this battle theme doesn't stick around the entire game, sadly, it stays around just long enough to get itself wormed into your head, and it's honestly better for it. Here's another game I need to go back to. Golden Sun's soundtrack, composed by Motoi Sakuraba of Tales of fame, is generally fantastic. However, no other song sticks in my head like the main battle theme, which really doesn't sound like a main battle theme. I mean, seriously, anyone else think this sounds more like a tense mini-boss theme? Either way, the theme is catchy and mixes near perfectly with the game's overall fast battle mechanics. Plus, if you're like me, you grind a lot in Golden Sun, before the final boss in Deadbeard especially. So the fact I hear it so much but I'm not annoyed by it at the end of the day shows the track's quality. here's a theme I've loved ever since I first heard it. But first, let's all be honest here, people. No one likes Seymour. Not only is he an overall creepy douche, but he has some of the game's hardest battles. Looks. The third time you deal with him, you think he's dead. But then right before the final boss, boom, he's back. Looking rather ghastly at that. However, thankfully this time he's a pushover. But damn is his music good. Fast-paced and has a beat that makes my head bob every time I hear it. I'm more the mindset that prefers the original PS2 version, however, I will not deny that the HD remaster version is also a great listen, so if you ever have the time, try out both. But seriously, Seymour.
Rot in hell.
Once again, here's a game we need to play again. Noticing a theme here? The Last Story was one of those games I bought purely because of the names it carried, since Sakaguchi and Uematsu have almost always delivered on a good experience. However, after it sat on my shelf for about 6 months, I put it into my Wii and absolutely fell in love. However, as it is with many games, my favorite part of the game is the soundtrack. The soundtrack as a whole is one of Uematsu's best works in games, and the biggest shower of that to me is the final boss theme. It starts off all creepy and eerie with those hums in a cutscene, which fits the look of the boss, I'll admit to that. But within a minute or so, it gets to be a hard-rocking, head-banging tune that I absolutely love. Pity the boss is really easy despite its looks, but damn, every time I play through this game, I always look forward to this song. Ah, Dagran. I may
curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
But damn is your theme good. Ah, here's an absolute favorite. Final Fantasy IX, to this day, remains one of my favorite RPGs of all time, despite being only my second favorite game in its series. And the soundtrack is one of the best I have ever heard. Hell, even Uematsu has stated that it's his favorite soundtrack out of the ones he's done. And considering the fact he composed numbers 4 through 2 on this list, that says a lot about his overall general quality. Despite the overall grand OST, my favorite battle theme in it is also my favorite song overall on the soundtrack, and wouldn't you know it, it's one of the last ones you hear during the battle against Transkuja. The theme, aside from being an overall good fit to Kuja's character, is a head-bopping great track that really hammers in the tenseness of the story's climax, yet still carries the wacky nature 9 has in general. Plus, unlike a certain someone, Kuja is a pre-established villain that has a known origin and a good character. So, having a suitable theme for the real final boss makes sense. Seriously, Necron, where did you come from? Alright, here we are at number 1. But first, there are some songs I want to mention anyway as honorable mentions. Themes I absolutely love, but couldn't put in due to preference to other songs or because of the 2-song rule I established at the start. Ah, memories. Final Fantasy VII as a whole has my favorite soundtrack in the series, with 9 just barely behind it. But this song is easily my favorite in the game. I don't know what it is about it in specific though, something about it just always caught my ear. However, I like the other Final Fantasy songs I put in the list just a little bit more. I know the fact that a Pokemon song didn't make the list exactly is startling. Here's the thing. I love the Pokemon games and their soundtracks, anything Gen 2 or 6 related especially, but I just like the other themes I have on the list more. Either way, I love the original mix from Gold, Silver, Crystal, but something about the remix they made for the remix just feels more fitting to the battle. I'm honestly surprised with myself. Given my absolute love for the franchise as a whole, I only put one Mega Man track on the main list. Battle Network 6, as I mentioned during number 9, is my favorite game in this particular series on pretty much all accounts. The boss theme here in particular, though, I love to death. I'm not exactly sure what it is about it, but something about it makes it sound like you're fighting a real threat and you need to take this seriously. I just find Battle Network 2's main battle theme a little more appeasing to the ears. Either way, with those out of the way, let's see what my favorite battle theme in all RPGs to date is. I know I already mentioned my love for Art and Elko and their soundtracks back in number 6, but this theme is just excellent! There's technically 2 versions of the song though, sung by different characters, one by Orica, one by Misha. And while I'm more of the mindset that Orica is the overall better character and in fact best grill, she loses to Misha for this song alone. Fast-paced, well-composed, and suitable for fighting the annoyance throughout the story that is Elma DS. Plus, hear that singing? That is a language that the developers made up for this series. There's even an alphabet for it. You are welcome for the new secret code to share with people during classes, by the way. To this day, no other songs relegated to battles and RPGs that I've played has stuck in my head like this thing has. I've outright sung it at points. And I doubt it'll get topped anytime soon. And here's the thing. I'm not exactly sure what it is about the song I absolutely love, other than the things I mentioned earlier. But, yeah. Either way, there are my top 10 RPG battle themes of all time to date, at least. I hope you enjoyed! If you agree with my list, disagree, or just want to discuss battle themes in general, go ahead and write in the comments below. I love reading that stuff, so fire away. And if you enjoyed listening to my sexy voice ramble on about video games, consider checking out my Let's Plays here on this little channel. Got a lot of them done by this point in time, and I have several more coming up. And if you like those, consider subscribing. Might do more of these top 10s later on, and LP episodes come out every weekday at an inconsistent time of day Eastern Standard Time, barring real-life circumstances interrupting. And I occasionally stream over on Twitch, though that's a very rare occasion. Either way, thank you guys for watching and listening to me. Have a great night, and take care, everyone.